everybody. Hello. Yeah, you can yell back at me. That's cool. Hi, everybody. Perfect. Good times. You guys have a good night. No. I'm kidding. Welcome to Ignite Denver 24. Who here has never been to an Ignite before? Show of hands. Sweet. Who has been to an Ignite before, so you get an excuse to yell as well? How many of you are my friends already? Okay, sweet. So, like I said, my name's Kat, and we have some fantastic speakers for you tonight, as you can see on the screen behind me. You're going to learn a lot and laugh a lot, hopefully, and be educated. So the way that it's going to work is that we're going to live tweet, evidently. That's what's most important right now. So you guys have heard this before. Hey, normally you're told to turn your phones off, but not really anymore. Turn them to silent for sure. The Twitters and the Facebooks and the Snapchats and the hashtag, what are we doing it? Hashtag Ignite Denver. And feel free to give us shout outs on Twitter. We love to see you. And then I can possibly call out your name on stage if you're into that kind of thing. If not, that's cool. You could just tweet it and say, but please, Kat, don't say this. That's fine. I may or may not listen. Biker Jim's is outside. You guys probably already saw. It's delicious. Yes, give them a hand. They're awesome. They've been helping us out and providing wieners for about a year now, I think, maybe more. So yes, please feel free to grab a dog. They're delicious if you haven't had them before, and show them some love. Our next Ignite is February 16th. It's gonna be right here. You're gonna have all new speakers. I will still be here. It's all cool. And you can buy tickets tonight. Actually, I think what is the ticket deal tonight? BOGO, it's buy one, get one. So, if you guys want to get tickets for the next Ignite now, you can get a sweet deal by getting on your phones and purchasing them. Organizers, these are the people who've been busting their asses to get all this stuff together. So if you guys real quick, I'm not gonna read off everybody's names because I'm gonna presume you can read, but if you guys could all applaud real quick, that would be great. They're over there, and some are in the back. We have some volunteers. And I'm actually going to ask you to pause this slide for just a second. There is a lovely lady named Stephanie Vale in the upper right-hand corner. And it was her birthday yesterday. And so I'd like to have everybody sing for her. Is she in here? Yep, okay, she's here. So ready? 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to you. You're welcome. Happy birthday to you. You're so welcome. Happy birthday, dear Stephanie. Happy birthday to you. Stephanie has worked so hard with our social media and getting everybody aware of Ignite, and she deserves lots of love. So thank you guys for doing that for me. I appreciate it. I know, oh, we're all cute and stuff. So, not always. These are the volunteers, people that were helping you check in. They're fantastic, and yes, right? Yay, volunteers. They might still be out there selling tickets. Oh yeah, and you can also text your friends that don't live here or who are at home with strep throat or whatever, because they can watch all of this live online at ignitedenver.org/live. Yeah, so get everybody involved so that when you're speaking at the next one, your friends who live far away can watch you. And then once it's up, you can keep telling people to go back to YouTube to watch your video, because it'll be up there. Whoa, we missed one. All right. Anyway, all that out of the way, and wait, I missed something. Ethan Crawford is actually in charge of doing our live streaming, and he's with Rocky Media, and he's fantastic. So if you're ever doing an event and you need someone to stream you live, find Ethan. Now, we have something special for Ignite 24, and I'm going to introduce the fabulous Jared Ewe. Jared. If you've been following Ignite Denver for a while, I am Jared with boobs. He He says that he's also Jared with boobs. I disagree. Hang on, 1 second. Oh God, feedback. Jared! Whoa.
I love all of you.
Right, so Jared actually hosted Ignite Denver for a long time.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, well.
Yep, so this is our witty banter phase.
All right.
Hey, Jared.
How are you doing, Kat?
I'm good. Why don't you tell us what we're gonna see next?
Well, this fantastic audience.
Yeah, feeling good. Who
Just
here's
come
from
out.
Denver? Denver, Colorado.
That.
Okay,
Yeah. Who likes chocolate and sex?
Hey!
Yeah.
That's good.
Okay, perfect.
I'm gonna put this back now.
Okay, now pandering to the crowd is something that our next guests do quite well. And let me just tell you what we're doing. Now, some of you have already been reeled into this project we're doing, and I thank you for your time. But we're shooting a video tonight with Ignite Denver. I'm with name.com. We do domains, websites, and hosting in town. Anybody know name.com? Well, good. Tell your friends. All right, good. All right, drinks are on them. Just, I don't know if I should say that. But anyway, so what we're doing is we're filming a Get Out the Vote commercial to get people to vote for this forthcoming election. Does everybody know there's an election coming up? Nice. Yeah, if you get too depressed, I'll ask the chocolate question again, okay? So what we're doing is we are shooting this video, and I want to say they're fake presidential candidates, but they seem more real than the real ones. I've spent a day shooting this video. With these two candidates, and the whole theme is if you don't vote, you don't have a voice. And I've already shot what I needed to shoot. I shot earlier, and thank you, many of you, people being silenced. And now, what you're going to see now is the debate betwixt our two presidential candidates for the greatest country in the world, or depending on which aisle you are, the country that needs to one day be greater, right? And let me get a microphone for each of you. I don't know who these people are parodying. That's up to you. But let me go ahead and get this started in this town hall debate. Left microphone, right microphone. I'm so torn, I can't decide. Gary Johnson. So, Jill Stein. Let's just get that out too. That's important. So what would you like to talk about, Ignite Denver? What would you like to talk about? Is there something you'd like them to debate? Is there an issue that's close to you?
Education.
Okay, education. What did you shout over there? Okay, we have education and snow cones? Yellow snow. All right, so we have education and legalizing marijuana. If you two could please debate so that this audience knows where you stand and why they should vote for you. Please, ladies and gentlemen, give it up to what could be the next president of the United States of America.
This is the defective mic. Can you hear me all right? You all right?
Unfortunately, we can hear you fine.
Great. So the topics were, as you remember them,
Education
education.
and
I like education.
legalizing marijuana.
I know people who like to legalize marijuana. We're in a state, a beautiful state, that actually agrees with the legalization of marijuana, which I love you people. You're a beautiful crowd. I'm sure you know some great people. And I would like your vote come November.
First of all, I'd like to thank you all for being here. Thank you for being here. Thank you for that insightful question. Such an insightful question. Where do I stand? Well, currently right here. But where do I stand on legalizing marijuana?
Wrong. Absolutely wrong. I never said that.
My stand on legalizing marijuana is exactly. That's how I feel about it. I think marijuana is a gateway drug to the fridge. Although, I will say this. Bill, a friend of mine, is very fond of it. And anything he likes, I like.
But he didn't inhale. So let's take a look at the eagle. That eagle is high right now, and it's on legal drugs. I'm okay with that, as long as you stay behind the wall. Don't bring it into the country. That's all I'm saying. Okay?
My opponent would have you believe that there are certain people who should not be in this country.
Shouldn't they? I mean, let's face it, folks. Look, I got a stamp, you got a stamp, no stamp over here. She should not be in the country. Do you have a stamp?
I said the country, not the room.
All right. I like IG Denver. I think it's a good community event. It brings everybody together and it educates. And I am for education, by the way.
Well, who wouldn't be standing
I would
next
like to get
him?
educated. I've gotten educated about my opponent, and I can tell you, believe me, people, when I tell you, you got to not vote for this one here. What do you have to lose? Vote for me. You're gonna be happy. You're gonna be pleased. I'm a businessman. I do business. I did business before I came here. Very good business, by the way, and I'm gonna do America good business.
Whew. Well. And by the way.
Whoop. Yeah, thank you, Jared. Jared's your name, right?
Ladies and gentlemen, Michael McNeil as one candidate, and his wife, Pamela McCreary McNeil, as the other candidate. Please give them a big hand.
Actually.
And buy him a drink. You know, they got to go home together.
Not nearly as divided as you thought.
Yeah. Thank you so much for playing along. And if you want to see this, name.com, we're going to have it on our YouTube and our Facebook and our Twitter. Or Ignite will be promoting it as well. And all of our social properties are name.com, all spelled out. And you know Ignite Denver well because you're here and because you're smart and you're plugged in. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get this thing started. Where is the MC, Kat Atwell? Kat Atwell.
Fantastic. I know I'm registered. I didn't get to watch. You guys had so much fun and you were laughing. So this is me. And what I'm going to do just to kick things off is give you sort of an example of the sort of presentations you'll see tonight. So I threw something together, and mine is going to be a hell of a lot more off the cuff than the people who have been putting a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into their presentations. So, that being said, let's kick this off. Anytime. There we go. So glad you're here. You guys are so much cooler than these people, and that is saying a lot, obviously. They're also happy to be here. They're all watching live on the live stream right now. So, you're in good company. When I was randomly Googling images to put on my slides, I found this one. And I just liked it. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to put this up here. Because the purpose is to foster community and get you to meet new people and network. And what you're going to see tonight is a series of presentations. Each presentation is composed of 20 slides, and they each go every 15 seconds, which comes out to 5 minutes per presentation. Yeah, that's math. So this is just a little reminder about the whole, hashtag thing. And if you see something cool in a presentation or hear a funny quote that you'd like to share, or would just like to gloat that you're here and your friends aren't, do that. This specifically, the boo, could you guys all just boo, please? All right, awesome. The reason that I brought this up is because people who are going to be on stage are not supposed to sell you anything. If they do, boo. They ask you to cheer, great. Another thing that I had to put in here for me is that ducking is never going to be a thing. I never mean ducking. I drop F-bombs, and so just be prepared. Now, this brings me to the point of my presentation. Did you know that today is German American Day? Because it is. Today is also Mad Hatter Day. I don't know why, but yay, Mad Hatter. And this is the world's largest pecan. I'm proud to say I took this picture personally. It's in rural Missouri. It's a 12,000-pound pecan. Somebody decided that it was going to be the biggest pecan, and god damn it, it is. Going along with that whole idea, I'm a Scorpio. Any other Scorpios in the house? What? So we're apparently sexy and moody and intense and powerful and sensual. Hello. Because they say so. But you know what? Enough of the laughing. It's business time. And if you don't know who Flight of the Conchords is, Google that shit. It's time to get down to business, you guys. Yeah. So when I was in high school, I lived in Chicago, and I got to go see Les Mis. And I know this will come as a shock, but I really wanted to be famous, right? So I dressed up. I'm like, I'm totally going to get noticed when I'm there, and somebody's going to do one of these. Yeah, you're going to be famous. It did not happen that way. I tripped and smashed a Dove bar into my face. And a lot of times, especially when you're young, you know, I want to be a firefighter, and somebody says, no, that's a bad idea. They give you faces like these. Like, for instance, I frequently say, I want to be a writer. Point. I have a blog, and I write, so I already am a writer. So, it's just fucking, own it. Somebody fucked with my slides. Okay, so if you are something and you say, well, yeah, eventually I want to be but you're already doing it, yell that shit out real quick. So on the count of 3, I am a whatever. I am a perfect. I know that sounds kind of woo-woo yippee stuff, but you know, you gotta kind of own it in order to give it out to other people. So this picture is me in 1994. I was a superhero then. Yeah, right? I spray painted those boots all by myself. So this is Michael Phelps, you might have heard of him. I'm sure he didn't jump into the pool thinking, I might be a champion. I'm gonna try and be a swimmer. He knows it and he owns his shit. He is a swimmer and he is a champion, and I didn't get the snarky thing. This is Paul Feig. He directs Ghostbusters, directed Bridesmaids. He's my friend. He doesn't know this yet, but I tweet him all the time. I've been tweeting him since 2013. Hopefully he's watching on the live stream, because we're friends. We're not gonna be friends. We are friends now. We put it out into the universe and it happens. And then we become 3 little finger characters loving on one another. And these guys, Tenacious D, they wrote the greatest song in the world. They didn't question it, they just knew they fucking did it. And so what we're doing tonight is giving you some fabulous fucking presenters who are going to tell you some brilliant things. And that's how fast a presentation goes, you guys. So. I feel so bad because I have gum in my mouth, and I came out on stage, I'm like, oh shit, I have gum. And I'm afraid it's gonna fall out of my mouth. That's a great intro for Amanda. So when I do these, for those of you that have not been to a presentation before, I like to get intro questions from our speakers, and I've threatened them that if they don't respond, I will come up with information for them. Which before has been a good scare tactic. When she was little, she actually was roller skating with her brothers, and she had her fingers hooked into her brother's belt loops, and her brother slipped forward, and as a result, she pulled forward and she broke her nose on the back of her brother's head. So that's her worst childhood injury, or possibly could have been a date that I had with my husband back in 2003. So Amanda, this is her first time speaking at Ignite Denver. She's going to be talking about gut explosions and funnel cakes, just to start us off on a happy note. So please, big round of applause for Amanda.
Thank you. Whew. Celiac disease. Well, shit, that sounds serious, doesn't it? It's like gonorrhea or hepatitis. But really it's more like indigestion and diarrhea. And really what it's like is I accidentally eat some gluten and it feels like someone is shoving their fist up my rectum, squeezing my intestines, wringing them like a washcloth, and expelling them like milking a cow. But I digress. For First, I need to tell you what gluten is, especially since Jimmy Kimmel has shown us that many gluten-free people don't actually know what gluten is. They just know that it makes you fat, or they have a friend who read a book about it. But gluten is actually a protein. It's a protein found in grain, and it's a binding agent. So it's what makes your flour sticky or helps you thicken your gravy. That little protein causes my intestines to attack itself because I have celiac disease. Now, that's not contagious. It's not something you get if you eat too much bread. It's an autoimmune disorder. So those are passed down genetically, and they affect us in different ways. So for my grandma's sister, it's rheumatoid arthritis. For my mom, it's nothing. That bitch can eat whatever she wants. Genetics isn't always fair. So celiac disease. It has a lot of different symptoms, but we all kind of start with the same foundation. Villi, which are little finger-like projections in your small intestine that are designed to wave freely like sea monkeys, soaking in the nutrients from the food you eat, deflate like Tom Brady's footballs until they're unable to absorb the good stuff. This creates digestive problems, eczema, severe acne. Most of us experience brain fog, and in some severe cases, people have even linked infertility to celiac disease. For me, it's a combination of things. I do get the brain fog, I get inflamed joints, and I get knocked down, drag out migraines. Thanks, Mom, for capturing this moment. So I was diagnosed in 2009, and I removed gluten from my diet far more slowly than I should have because I love pizza. And gluten-free pizza didn't exist back then. So I had a really hard time breaking up with Little Caesars. And at the same time, I removed dairy from my diet because most people with celiac disease are also lactose intolerant. If you're sensing the disconnect here, you're correct. I do still sometimes eat cheese because cheese comes on pizza, and I love pizza. I also love the fair. I love the lights. I love the sounds, I love the summer state fair, I love harvest festivals, I love the questionable safety of the rides and the vendors, and I love fair food. Go ahead and ask yourself how many of these delicious food items are gluten-free. Hint, fucking none of them. You know what I get to eat when I go to the fair? A salad. Fuck salad. And now I gotta remake that $18 fair salad because I can't eat those croutons. And no, ma'am, I can't pick them off because the tiny trace of crouton crumble will turn my guts into the digestive mush that will put your hurl-a-whirl to shame. Now, this culminated at a fall festival when a couple of friends of mine were eating a funnel cake around me, and one of them suggested, why don't you just chew it up for a minute and spit it out? I'd had enough. I decided to create my own gluten-free funnel cakes. Yeah, it was not easy. It took a year to create a recipe that would manifest a dough that would come out to look something like this. This was the first one that I made. Well, not anymore because I got better. I started making other gluten-free fried things, and then I did some research. No one else in the Googleverse was making gluten-free fair food. This could be huge. Until I realized that launching a restaurant could cost like $500,000, so instead I bought a used ice cream trailer from a Lakewood police officer. Family and friends helped me paint it, get some bitchin' logos on it. We put in brand new equipment so there would be no concern for gluten particles or cross-contamination. And now I get to sling funnel cakes to people who might have been stuck eating salad at the fair. Thanks. Here's the point. This wasn't developed out of love or kindness or even fear. I was just pissed that I couldn't find a funnel cake that I could eat. So if you're pissed about something, do something about it. You can change shit, literally and figuratively.
How's your biker gym dog? I love Amanda. She's a friend of mine whose arm I twisted strongly to submit a spark. So I'm really glad that she was here, and hopefully you guys learned a lot. And for those of you that are gluten intolerant, I hope you had a little, hey, yeah, moment. I normally don't bring notes out, but one of the things that I did ask our speakers, as I might have alluded to at the last intro, are movie quotes that have resonated with them. And Leah's is brilliant, bless you. And she sneezed. So I wanted to read it in its entirety. I don't associate with people who blame the world for their problems. You are your problem. You are also your solution. Very serious, right? This was Melissa McCarthy speaking to Kristen Wiig in Bridesmaids. It's like when I read that, I'm like, wow, this is deep. And from Bridesmaids, my friend Paul Feig directed that movie. Hey, Paul. Okay. Another thing that I had asked them was if they had any stupid human tricks. And Leah said that her stupid human trick is that she can drink a ton of beer. So feel free to hook up with Leah and buy her a drink after the presentation, because she can show off her stupid human trick. That out of the way, I'd like to strongly encourage you to give a big round of applause for Leah MORAN, pardon me, for Born at the Right Time.
So we learn what family means the minute that we become part of one. I didn't become part of my family until I was 2 years old. Up until that point, I lived in an orphanage in Calcutta, India. The orphanage was run by the Missionaries of Charity, which was started by Mother Teresa. Her main goal was to take care of children and adults who were sick, alone, or near dying. The goal was I was going to live in the orphanage until I was old enough to either take care of myself, which in India at that time would have been about 12 years old, or until I was adopted. My parents have 5 children, 4 of whom are adopted. My father was a United States Marine. He fought in the Vietnam War, and I know that that war strikes a lot of emotions with many people. But I also know that had my dad not been in Vietnam at the time that he was, I would not be here tonight. When the Marines were in Vietnam, a lot of them would go visit hospitals and orphanages to see children who no longer had family and who were there basically to either get better or be adopted. My parents, shortly after they were married, had my older sister, Molly. And when they finally had her, they were very excited, but they knew that they could have more children, or they wanted more children. So enter this organization called Holt International. It's a group out of Eugene, Oregon. It was started in the 1950s by a couple who wanted to help South Korean orphans. That organization urged the United States Congress to allow international adoptions in this country. Up until this point, it wasn't legal. My older brother, Peter, was adopted when he was 7 months from Seoul, South Korea, and 2 years later, I came to this country. 2 years after that, my younger brother, Nicholas, was adopted. So Nicholas and I were not blood related, but he was the only kid in my family who looked like me, and I always relished that. We lived in Minneapolis, Minnesota, long enough for me to have a fake accent and to love the Vikings and the Twins. Shortly after that, we moved to Billings, Montana, which Billings, Montana in the 80s, for a brown kid, not really the place to be. I'm pretty sure that my brothers and I were the only non-white kids in our school, but we made it happen. Shortly after that, we moved to Littleton, Colorado, where I had my own room, finally. We had a big pool in our backyard, and I was elated, because on the first day of school, I was one of like 30 brown kids. It was awesome. So things got a little weird in middle school and high school, when it was very obvious that even though I sounded like all of my friends, I didn't look like any of them. And to me, at the time, my family really wasn't that interesting. My parents were white. They had blue eyes. They were pretty normal. I didn't come from an ethnic family. I had friends who were from Russia and Afghanistan, and I thought they were awesome. So I can't tell you exactly or when things changed, but at some point I did realize that my family and my family experience is one of the greatest I've ever had. My younger sister, who is from Seoul, South Korea, when she and I were younger, we would both spend hours in front of the mirror, which drove my mother insane, because she thought we were becoming really vain. Which, as you can see, we weren't that cute at the time. And it's not that we were becoming vain, we were spending many hours in front of the mirror trying to figure out how could we look like other kids? How could we look like people who weren't us? So now that I'm in my late 30s, I have finally figured out that being part of a family has nothing to do with bloodlines. It's all about feeling. It's that feeling you get when you walk into your parents' house the night before Thanksgiving and they greet you with food and wine. It's that feeling you get when your mom will still make random offhand comments about how you still need a haircut. And it's that feeling you get when your older brother still makes fun of you for something that happens 30 years ago. So needless to say, how I came to this country, how I came to my family may not be normal for everyone, but I know that I was born at the right time.
So this was Leah's first time speaking now as well. And she was backstage, she's like, I am petrified. I am so nervous. And I'm like, it's gonna be fine. Even if you're petrified, do it anyway, because right afterwards, it's gonna feel like an orgasm. And if that isn't a hot sell for becoming an Ignite Denver speaker, I don't know what is. Which is why I MC, because I get to come out on stage again and again and again. So Heather Nelson is our next speaker. Enough about my vagina. Heather likes to emulate Zoot from Monty Python and the Holy Grail. For those of you that might not know who Zoot, what, do you guys know? Shout it out. Yeah, okay, yeah. She was the queen in the castle, and they were inviting them up and spank me. That's Heather. And her favorite band when she was in high school obviously was Hanson. And her stupid human trick involves her boobs, and you'll have to ask her about that later. So, somebody else didn't fill out the questionnaire. So please, big hand for Heather Nelson.
Any company worth their salt looks for a win-win scenario. The win for the customer, receiving a transformative good or service, and the win for the company, trying to fulfill their mission and vision in a profitable and sustainable way. It's what our economy is built on. It's what gives capitalism a smile. Profit and satisfaction is what we search for. And I actually believed this model until I entered the mental health industry. And it was there that I learned that companies tend to provide a good enough product or service to keep stakeholders off their back and customers mentally satisfied. So what's another solution? Well, I wasn't sure. All I knew is that I saw people around me on the edge of crisis. Sound a little bit familiar, not too long ago. And I realized that 3 faulty business models typically got created from this mentality of a win-win scenario. The first is the win for the company, usually in the form of high profit and little giving back to the community or to the staff. There's too much competition, there's too much instability, you gotta keep it close to home. The second is the win for the staff, usually in the form of high premiums to the customer. On Mental Health America's website, it says, unless you're independently wealthy, you will most likely not be able to afford cash pay counseling services. The third win is for the community, usually in the form of reduced rate services, which sounds great until you realize that the median income for a postmaster's licensed counselor is $37,000. Your staff makes up the assembly line. You're a cog in the reel. Keep your head down. Work harder, better, faster, and somehow you'll feel fulfilled in what you do. But that's not what actually happens, is it? It reminds me of Charles Dickens' book, Hard Times, where he critiques the Industrial Revolution, and he talks about the fact that in this world, facts matter, leave creativity behind, and you will be happier because you will be richer. But what about purpose? What about the people that keep the momentum of a company going? What about the staff? And that's when it clicked for me. We need to create a win-win-win with staff front and center. We all want to live out our purpose vocationally, and millennials are a great example of this. It's why we accept underpaying jobs to do what we love, and we work 70 hours a week to make our hobby dreams come true. Companies need to look for a creative way to do this. At my company, we partner with local faith communities who donate space so that we can provide reduced rate counseling services to the community and then also fairly pay our counselors. If you adopted this model where you work, I can almost guarantee that your company will have higher profits, they will last longer, and the community will come back again and again and again. This may sound like a bit of an illusion. How do we actually do this? I've noticed that there's 3 tips to keep in mind to see this transformation happen in your organization creatively. The first starts with leadership. Leadership needs to leave their ego at the door. Amen? A mentor of mine once said when he started companies, he wished he knew that it all comes down to leadership, and ego kills it. The second tip I have for you is that policies and procedures should make sense to a child. Children appreciate creativity, consistency, and congruency. Irrelevant or unclear policies feel like a trick, and they're unsafe. The third is for organizations to leave room for their staff to fail and experiment. That's where innovation comes from. But they also need to hold improvement accountable for that to work. So what if your company adopted this? Oh, the places you'll go. By ego staying at the door, by failure being invited, by accountability happening with your team, your organization can thrive. Purpose consistently calls us home. It's easy to get sidetracked, but it wants to reach out and bring us back. And vocationally, we can get there if we believe in the win-win-win. This all may seem like a bit of an illusion. How could this be real? How could it actually happen where I work? And I think that the first question comes down to, what if your company cared more about you than the bottom line? Thanks a lot.
I aspire to have slides as cool as Heather does. I'm not there yet, I know. Give it time. So while I was backstage, I was on the Twitter. Aside from my friend, Dave Maynard, who is either in the audience or, I think, on the live stream. Dave, are you here? Okay. Yes? Okay. Whatever. Yep. Hi, Dave. See? He tweeted with hashtag Ignite Denver, y'all. Nobody else has. I don't know if you remember on those Scorpio slides, but it also said, feisty, I will fight you. I won't really. We're actually already at our intermission. Somebody just tweeted, didn't they? Because my phone just buzzed. Whoever you are, I love you. So you guys have some time right now to go up and get a beer if you want, get another hot dog. If you need the restroom, the ladies' tiniest restroom in the world, ooh, it buzzed again, is over here in the corner. Ladies, have somebody else hold your purse, your coat, your shoes. Very wee stalls. So It'll be about 15 minutes. Feel free to appreciate the fantastic slides that Vanessa put together, new for this Ignite, so they're gorgeous. And thank you. We'll be back in a little bit.
just what happened. Yes, children, that's 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 just what happened.
There's a young man in the audience. His name is Kenny. For those of you that can kind of sort of see, he's right here and is roughly what, like 3? Hi, Kenny. He's here to see his aunt who will be speaking later, and he's great. And Yeah, Mom, you just need to employ earmuffs whenever I come on stage. Like, there might be kids here. There's really a kid here. So, you guys having a good time so far? Would you cheer for me even if you weren't having a good time? Okay, good. I forgot to do something. So my friend Shauna, who is actually on our prestigious board, told me before I came on stage, she's like, okay, put on your lipstick, fluff your hair. I totally forgot to fluff my hair, so excuse me. Okay, so now, yeah, my hair looked kick-ass yesterday. Is that good? Okay, Shauna approves of my hair now. But enough about my hair. We're gonna talk to Danielle Bilbrook now, who also, by the way, has been part of our live tweeting team. So, yay, Danielle. Stuff that we can know about Danielle. In high school, her favorite band was Garbage, and she wanted to be Shirley Manson. I love that I'm not even making this up. Her favorite childhood injury is when she got her nose broken in a badminton doubles tournament. How do you do that? They're like the little wiffle things, right? Shuttlecocks, thank you. Earmuffs. Anyway, Danielle has a fantastic presentation, and she'll be telling you a little bit about private lives on social media. So please, big round of applause for Danielle.
Earlier this year, my boyfriend broke up with me. I was devastated. I was in love. He was the love of my life for 2.5 years. We had talked about our wedding, our children, what we would name them and how we would raise them. We had holiday plans. Hell, we even had travel plans for 2 weeks from then to celebrate my 30th birthday. I was in love and I was crushed. After a lot of talking and crying, I did the thing that a lot of 21st century couples do after a breakup. I changed my Facebook relationship status. I deleted all social media evidence of our relationship because the last thing I wanted was to get on Facebook and see a painful reminder of a love that I no longer had. I knew that people would be confused. We had, by all accounts, what seemed like an intensely happy relationship. People would look at our pictures or read about our funny conversations, and they would routinely tell me that they wished they had a love like ours. I knew these people would be shocked that we were no longer together. Now, I'm a marketing consultant, so I share a lot of personal, professional, and sometimes funny things with my social media audiences, and I rarely think twice. But when I had the idea to have a Facebook post that was devoted to the breakup, I wasn't really sure how people would react. Would they think that I was trying to get attention? I didn't want attention from a lot of random people. I just wanted people to not Facebook stalk me to try and figure out the truth. So maybe you want to make things public and maybe you don't, but I'm here to tell you a few things I've learned. One, it's freeing because when you're honest about your breakup on social media, you can be honest about your new single life too. Like so. Top to bottom, guys. This is an actual Verizon conversation, so that was pleasant. Thanks, phone service provider. Also, it builds community. In a study published by the University of Missouri-Columbia, they found that social media users are often jealous of other people's social media profiles. And that's because, and it also causes depressive episodes as a result, because people post about travel and babies and weddings and engagements and all the happiness that you don't have in your life. So it's easy to understand why people are jealous. But what if we opened up about the crap, too? What if we talked about our breakup, our postpartum depression, our mental illness, or experiences with discrimination? What if we talked about these things that are so often relegated to private diaries and private hells, but they don't have to be? After I opened up about my breakup on Facebook, I was flooded with private messages, both from people I knew and people I hadn't spoken to in years. I thought it was the opposite of what I wanted, but it turns out that everybody was sharing this experience of grief and love lost with me. Somebody had made an impression on their lives, and they were sharing that with me because I had shared it with them. You will piss people off. These people will likely not at all be affected by your actual public confession if you're doing everything right, but they will still be angry with you, and you will spend a lot of time trying to scratch your head and figuring out why the fuck they care at all. okay? Or how you ruined their day. These people are maybe terrified of living out loud. They're private people. They feel like there's no decorum in it. But I'm telling you right now, forget about these people. If these people only value you and your experiences in the shadows, they will never let you live in the light. Also, there are rules. If you are thinking about making something private into a public forum, you should probably ask yourself a few questions. 1, will this hurt myself or somebody else? If your employer would fire you, if your friends or family would disown you and they all follow you on social media or they could find out about it, then don't talk about it unless you understand and embrace the potential consequences. And if you're going to share something that could legally affect somebody, even though it might be just, it's also not something you want to do without consulting a lawyer, a therapist, or a law enforcement professional first. When I talked about my breakup, I shared only the facts. We are no longer together. I am devastated. I loved him more than I've ever loved anyone. I didn't speak ill of him because it would have been unnecessary and it would have hurt him, and I didn't want to do that. The next thing you should ask yourself is, can I benefit somebody with this? Will me sharing this experience help another person own their similar experience? Could this create community in a place where it is absent or desperately needed? I believe that we're citizens of the world and that our experiences shouldn't just be for our benefit, but for others as well. Sharing that experience was one of the best things I've done with my year so far. It created a community, it helped me work through my grief, and it became the inspiration for a book I'm writing about real stories of heartbreak from real people. So if you're going to think about making something like this public, live transparently and live out loud. I try to do the same. Thank you.
Danielle is a power hugger. Bless you. All right, it goes this way. By the way, I bought this shirt on Amazon on Monday, specifically for tonight. It's like jammies, but I have an ass shelf. So every time I'm walking off stage, I'm like, shit, it's on my butt. So if you see me tugging at it, it's because I don't have shapewear for my butt yet. So Danielle is great, and I tweet and Facebook with her regularly. She is much funnier than I am, so do follow her on social media. Pete. Oh, man. Pete. Yeah, right? Woo, Pete. I asked the speakers if they had a superhero name, what would it be? To which he replied, Pete. Yeah, Pete. So, favorite band in high school was Incubus. He's seen them, I think he said twice at Red Rocks. And other fun facts that have now completely eluded me. Nope, there go. Oh, his stupid human trick. Apparently he is really great at wiggling his eyebrows. I don't know, maybe he'll do it for you once he's on stage. So, yes, without further ado, here is Pete.
So the other day, I was at work cleaning up after one of our parties at the office, and said to myself, where's my Rosie the robot? We're a technology company, like, we should have this figured out. For those of you who are unaware, and this image doesn't jog your memory, Rosie is from the Jetsons, and I'm gonna give you a brief history on that. Jetsons premiered 1962. First color cartoon on ABC television. Takes place in the year 2062, and we meet Rosie in the first episode where Jane's trying to get ready for George's boss coming over that evening. This is important being as George works a 1-hour workday in the future. So of course Jane doesn't have enough time to get ready, and her mother calls her up on the video phone and says, you should go hire a maid just for the day to help you get things done. So Jane runs out, gets Rosie, and manages to get everything done in time. Rosie helps out around the house, and she cooks George's boss the best pineapple upside down cake he has ever had, and he insists that the Jetsons keep Rosie on full time. You know, even though they just wanted her for the day. So, this happened in 1962, So I figured we've got to have some pretty awesome stuff by now, right? I mean, this is before we went to the moon. So I poked around, and turns out the pinnacle of home cleaning technology is still a Roomba. Mine's really cute. It runs around, it bumps into things. I call it Scooter. It's fantastic, but it's no Rosie the robot. It's not gonna bake me a cake. So I started doing some more research. I'm like, we gotta be just on the cusp here. What's next? What's gonna save me some time in the house? Turns out there's a clothes folding machine. It's gonna come out in the next year or two. Except for it can't sort your socks, it doesn't know how to fold your underwear, and it still doesn't know how to fold that fitted sheet for your bed that apparently no one ever figured out how to fold. Definitely no Rosie the robot. So, all this made me think, like, what do the Jetsons actually use Rosie for? They just need her for the day, right? Jane cooks by going to this massive control panel and just plugging in what food items she wants, and it just spits them out. George wakes up in the morning, he stands on a treadmill, and his entire morning routine is automated, down to brushing his teeth. It's fantastic. So with the exception of some like comical appliance mishaps or something like that, you know, it really seems like Jane and Rosie are more just there as like companions for those whole 2 hours of work that George is away from the house for. That's right, George works 2 days a week, 1 hour each. So, yeah, I started thinking like, maybe the Jetsons, like, they're not so far-fetched. Like maybe technology really has come that far and it's just hiding from us a little bit or something. You know, and I'm not even talking about like the crazy things like the Google self-driving cars or anything like that. I imagine that most of you probably came over here this evening by just pressing a button and being whisked across town like some sort of futuristic movie. It's fantastic. Or if you don't feel like leaving the house, you know, Amazon will just give you buttons to stick on things when you want it just magically to show up on your doorstep 2 days later. You know, you're out of paper towels or something, I just press a button and they just show up in a box on my doorstep. It's amazing. The Jetsons don't even have that. They still have to go to the mall. One thing that the Jetsons definitely don't have that we do now is we can talk to our appliances. It's fantastic. I can go, hey Alexa, order me a pizza, and ask me what size I want. Like, how futuristic is that? It's amazing. So, that reminds me, hey Siri, remind me to buy tickets for Ignite 25 once I'm done. But really, I think all of this just saves time for the important things in life. Riding a bike while wearing virtual reality goggles. So really, the future is now. Thanks, everybody. I'm Pete Winter.
Nicely done. I'm hugging. Yep. Stephanie, I'm totally hugging your boyfriend right now. She's jealous. That's what superhero Pete said. This is funny simply because there's another person whose superhero name is just their name. Marjorie is going to be our next speaker. Now, when she was little, she was going down a small hill on her bicycle, biffed it, went over the handlebars, knocked out 5 of her front teeth, including the roots. I know, right? So when you see her smiling, recognize that is a $10,000 grill, y'all. Plus, after the show, you may see me tackle her and take her down because I want her tights. They're fantastic. So we're gonna learn a little bit more about coffee now. So big round of applause for Marjorie.
Whew. Okay. I bet if your transit agency ran as well as your favorite coffee shop, you'd want to get on a bus. So transit operators need riders. And this is a transit operator's dream. And yes, it was a little dangerous on the right. Parking can be complicated and expensive. That's just one good reason to leave the car at home when taking transit is easier, cheaper, and more convenient. Sharing the road can be distracting. When a bus or train has a dedicated lane, it's not going to get stopped at red lights, it's not going to get stuck in traffic, and it can keep a more predictable schedule. These are centers of high-density centers of jobs, employment, that's the same thing, schools, entertainment. These mature systems, never mind. Let's talk about coffee. More than half of American adults drink coffee every day. Lots of them are putting cream and sugar in it, and they think that coffee makes them feel more like themselves. Our good feelings about coffee are given back to us in many popular movies. The film industry knows that our happy feelings about coffee is a way to connect with audiences. Caffeine stimulates the neurotransmitter dopamine, and dopamine is what gives you that euphoric feeling with your first cup in the morning. It's the same thing that people get from amphetamines, cocaine, and ecstasy. So these cities have the highest percentage of coffee shops, the most people that drink coffee, and the highest personal budget dedicated to coffee. So coffee in transit is not a new idea. In 2013, Starbucks created the Starbucks train. It's with the Swiss National Rail Company. It's a two-story Starbucks experience in the warm browns of coffee and snowy white steamed milk. San Francisco has the Leap bus. People are paying $6 to swipe their phone, get on a clean bus, coffee and a snack on their way to work. In 2015, Mr. Nguyen Tran in Hanoi bought an old bus and turned it into a coffee shop on wheels. It's the same formula. Get people where they want to go, coffee and a snack. All right. These cities have the most high-end coffee shops within a one-block radius of a major transit stop. The people on these buses are spending over $20 a week on their cappuccinos. This is the busiest Starbucks in the world at the Shibuya train station in Japan. This billboard location Starbucks has been seen in many movies made in Tokyo, and they only sell tall-sized drinks to keep the lines moving faster. So what can the transit industry learn from the retail coffee business? Always serve your best shot. Consistently deliver the best quality and service. Don't skimp on training and technology. It is said that a serious coffee drinker is going to walk 10 blocks out of their way to get the right cup of coffee. I think they should just get on your bus. Hand that scone to your mother. Hand that scone to your customer like it's a newborn baby being handed to your mother. All right? When I get on your bus, make eye contact, say hello, welcome to my bus. Reward loyalty and community spirit. Do you ride the bus a lot? How about a free ride? Did you help somebody get on with a stroller? How about a free ride coupon? The most profitable coffee shops are going to sell you a scone without latte. The public transportation industry needs to promote multiple sales. How about a bottle of water with that bus ticket? So, RTD Denver, you are this close to being in the top 10. So I think you should take a tip from my friend, and not just on Twitter, Mr. Nguyen Tran in Hanoi. Thank you.
She was very excited. She's been drinking a lot of coffee. I crack me up. So you remember Kenny? Kenny has stayed up extra late to see his aunt. Kenny, it's your aunt's turn. Aunt Danielle's gonna come out now. Yeah, she, by the way, I was like, so what do you want me to say when I'm introducing you? She's like, I don't know, I'm boring, make something up. I read. So Danielle likes to read. Yeah, and she has a brilliant, beautiful nephew. And I'm really excited to have you guys learn from her. So I'm gonna put this in the stand because I'm supposed to. Okie dokie. Yes, and give it up for Danielle.
I hate you, poverty, your empty tummies, your pain-drenched neighborhoods, your lack of hope. I hate you, middle class, your standardized tests, your unrealistic achievement goals. I hate you, wealth, your privilege, your greed, your access. Oh, but I love you, poverty, your human connection, your unconditional acceptance, your laughter. And I love you, middle class, your safe boxes, your education, and I love you, wealth. your need to help and your realistic expectations. I hate you, classism, your prejudice against, your favor for, you do not choose who belongs. Your hate is not welcome here anymore. Where would we be without you, classism? Did you know there are language barriers and hidden rules that plague the people in poverty and everyone else? Did you know that when I talk about language barrier, I talk not about a foreign language, but the bigger problem, the problem of the language of socioeconomic status. There is a bigger problem than not understanding these differences, because we are separated by a thin wall of rules and miscommunication. And I didn't know about these rules. I didn't know there was a language barrier, but I did know something was wrong. Yeah, I'm the one on the left, the one with the baby belly, 15 and pregnant. And as a teen parent, I was put into the social service system where I went through the rigorous process of understanding these rules. And I did it. I got out of it. I get to meet him. Not really. Not really. But I realized at 25, when I was living what I called the Stepford Wives life, you know, the perfect husband, the great house, the 2.5 kids, the jogging stroller. Yeah, I had perfected my black and white pantsuit. But along the way, I lost myself, just as society has lost their way. I realized that I was following a system that is commonly used for the last 25 years. And the fearless person here, Dr. Ruby Payne, the author of The Framework of Understanding Poverty, she literally built the exact system to move from poverty to middle class, to help others move out of poverty, and to even move from middle class to wealth. Yes, she's done it. All we have to do is follow her rules, and we don't have any more poverty. But what I realized is that she outlined the stereotypes that run our families, our businesses, our careers. She put it right here in this convenient table. Wouldn't it be nice if we valued each other for our individual differences? What would the world be without these barriers? Wouldn't it be nice if we were one society instead of three? Wouldn't it be nice if we valued individual people within these systems and then instead of how well they followed the rules? Wouldn't that be nice? Because you know what? I am done. I am done with poverty. I am done with hate. I am done with the divide, and you should be too. These barriers that we did not choose, these rules that we have to follow. Let us value our unique differences. Let us choose to learn a new language. Thank you.
I can hear my footsteps really loudly. Were you guys? I walk with authority. We've made it to our last speaker of the evening. I know, woo! But, oh no, but yay, because we have improvisers coming up afterwards, so don't get ready to leave quite yet. John also had a fabulous quote that I had to bring up because I can't memorize, and it's from Casablanca, which I have never seen, so feel free to shame me now. I know. Okay. Okay, somebody else has, thank God bless you people. All right, I just like, okay, right. So here's, I've sort of taken this off track. Shocking. All right, so this is Captain Renault to Rick in Casablanca. Means nothing to me. I've often speculated why you don't return to America. Did you abscond with church funds? Abscond. Run off with a senator's wife? I like to think you killed a man. It's the romantic in me. It's a little dark. And now I'm gonna take it up to 11. Childhood injury. So I asked, and I fell off my bike, or I broke my nose in badminton. John, my most memorable childhood injury, a broken heart. So if you guys could hug John later, I think he's working through some stuff right now. All right, so here's our final speaker of the night, John Forrest.
Hey nerds. I'm a science fiction writer, and I'm here to convince you that science fiction matters more than ever. To start, consider our own Milky Way, 100 billion stars. Recently, the Juno spacecraft set a speed record of 165,000 miles per hour. If we moved that fast, it'd still take us 700 million years to cross our galaxy, and there are 100 billion galaxies out there that we can see, a universe of limitless stories. But to keep it simple, Marvin Minsky, who's the co-founder of MIT's Artificial Intelligence Laboratory, said, "General fiction is about the ways that people fuck up their lives. Science fiction is about everything else." So, for example, Darcy and Keira Knightley here, they do eventually find love, but Pride and Prejudice only works because these pasty upper classes make themselves miserable despite their privilege. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm a fan of Jane Austen, but only 5 years after she invented the romantic comedy, her contemporary, Mary Shelley, gave us a tortured genius who defies death and reinvents life. I mean, actually, fuck romantic comedies. I mean, so 200 years before now, Shelley was foreseeing that we needed this transhumanist ethic. Don't hate what you create. But she did something interesting which still haunts us today. Her protagonist ends up rejecting his creation. So the monster is only a monster because his dad is an asshole. Minsky wasn't quite right. The sci-fi protagonists still mess up their lives, but the stakes are way bigger. And this has never been more important than right now because this shit's getting real. Hello, Googlenstein. Google wants you to live forever. and good luck. But science fiction wants to know what this means now, before we all dive in, before companies like Tesla take our minds off of our everyday tasks, or Apple fills our life 24/7, or DARPA automates warfare, or Facebook perfects this echo chamber hive mind we're all in right now, or IBM actually starts doing your thinking for you. I mean, does anybody see how this shit could go really wrong? So Orwell did foresee that we'd all be watched all the time, and there'd be cameras everywhere, and we'd trade our freedoms for convenience, and he foresaw all that stuff. But what he didn't see is that we would actually carry our tracking devices willingly with us all the time. So it's like this. We've got so it's like this. We've got these stories like Blade Runner, where we've got characters in Blade Runner. There's another Frankenstein's monster who, Roy, the replicant, he murders his maker and gets Blade Runner is essentially about death, which is something that we've all been part of us for thousands of years. And that's in stories like Ex Machina, where the Frankenstein's monster escapes her prison and kills her captors, and then she's free. And she's a recursively self-improving artificial intelligence, and humans treated her like shit, which also appears in stories like Kubrick's 2001 and Arthur C. Clarke's 4 books. And Arthur C. Clarke was an optimist, but he still believed us capable of incredible self-destruction and portrayed us as both the Frankensteins and the monsters, that we mistreated the computer Hal, who goes predictably apeshit, and then at the same time, we're looking at the monolith, which is actually our Frankenstein. And all this might seem quite confusing, but actually the subtext is really clear, that in this theater, right now, at this moment, we're all both Frankensteins and monsters, and that this is about the technologies we adopt or reject. More importantly, it's about the ways that we love or reject each other. And the future might be about the ways that we fuck up our lives, or it might be about everything else. And tonight I chose Frankenstein as a work of science fiction to just demonstrate why these stories are still important. But it's not all doom and gloom. I could have chosen Ursula Le Guin's excellent Left Hand of Darkness, which just explores all these just luscious ideas about gender and the fluidity of identity. Or we could have talked about the optimistic works of Kim Stanley Robinson in 2312, which explodes ideas about modern economics and offers this worldview where capitalism and socialism work together with zero-gravity swingers parties. But I'm out of time, so read more science fiction, watch more science fiction, just be sure it's the good stuff. Thanks.
Okay, so let's get a big round of applause for all of our speakers. Because when you do this, it takes a whole hell of a lot of guts and a lot of bravery, which is the same as jobs and employment, which I think is what Marjorie said earlier. But whatever, it does. It takes a whole lot of balls, big balls, lots of balls. But it's fun, and whoever was out there whose name was like Happy Apple Cider or something, who said she was already coming up with her next talk, you're gonna be on stage. I will find you. So what's going to happen now is we are going to have a speed round. I was lucky enough to get some improvisers to join us tonight. Now, this is for you guys with the computers. I've actually told the improvisers that they could talk a little bit about themselves. They totally are going to be selling their stuff. They got my permission ahead of time, so please don't boo them. Matt Need said he might just come out and pull his dick out and stand here for a minute and a half, so please, please make sure. Right, I know, but I warned you ahead of time. Is Kenny still here? Nope, Kenny left, we're good. So yeah, with the speed round, what we're gonna do, each improviser is gonna come out here and they are going to get one of the presenters' decks, decks. And so they're gonna go through the 20 slides. They're gonna have 5 seconds per slide. And they're gonna come up with their own presentation. Fun fact, they don't know whose presentation they're getting. And none of them had been to an Ignite Denver until tonight. So, I will say that all of the individuals that will be coming out here are fantastic human beings, brilliant improvisers, and funny as hell. So, I'm not sure who we're starting with. Could we advance to the next slide, or no? Maybe. Matt Mead, whoop, go back one. Maybe. Hold on, Matt, come on out, Matt. Here's Matt. I'm gonna let Matt talk to you a little bit, and then he's gonna do a presentation.
How about it for Kat, huh? She's kicking ass tonight. Nicely done. My name is Matt Mead. I've been doing improvisation for about 30 years now. I teach here in Denver. If you think you want to try this shit, you know you want to try this shit. It will change your life. It'll make things happier for you. You'll laugh a lot more at everything in your daily life. I can teach you. I want to teach you. Come see me when all this shit is over, no matter how bad I fuck all this up. By the way, with regard to pulling out a dick, I didn't say it would be my dick. I said it would just be a dick. So we'll see exactly what I fucking whip out. Hit it. A lot of times you have some trouble with your commute in the morning. What you need to be doing is ignoring all the signs and keeping your cars boxed up. Naked people can make your bus smell strange. Do not touch naked people. This map is the United States. All of the United States. If you add these up, they add up to more than 100%. Why? I don't fucking know. I have no idea. Passion, elegance, neo-noir. That's how you whip your dick out, my friends. If you have enough coffee, you will not need the blue pills. You'll wind up all sweaty. The country has changed entirely thanks to the blue pills. Starbucks can eat my dick. People like this woman do not date guys with beards and shitty hats. Do not get on a moving truck with open containers. This country is totally different. See, Denver's not even there yet. Totally not there yet. Jump! 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 Nobody listens to me. This is, of course, what happens when you have celiac disease. And these people are learning to milk a fake cow. You can always milk a fake cow. That is not a lobster. Do not let her tell you that's a lobster. And if there's a hurricane, do not loot this stuff. It's not worth shit. Also, not a lobster. 2 fake lobsters in one presentation. I'm here about seafood. This man drives like an Asian.
Matt Mead, not a lobster. Quinn's probably shitting himself right now. Our next improviser to come out here and really test his improv strength is Quinn Marchman. Quinn, come on out. Yeah, he's gonna tell you a little bit about himself. Good luck.
Oh, thanks. Cool, I'm Quinn. Shout out to the dude with the unnecessarily wide stance at the urinal. I am now an advocate against manspreading. You don't need to stand like that, dude. I'm with the Black Actors Guild. We do improv and things. We have a show tomorrow at the Crossroads Theater, 8 p.m. Say you were here, it'll still be $10, but it'll be like, cool, you were here too. You support local theater, it's important. Lastly, I too just went through a breakup. I need a new Tinder picture. If you happen to snap a picture, holla at me, Quinsational. Let's get this going. Yeah, I'm a bachelor. This is my life, 24/7. This is the girlfriend who broke up with me. She treated me really well. I've never seen the Jetsons. I'm dating myself. You rent a maid. I need a girlfriend. Okay, we're keeping going with this. Sandwiches are good. Take the thing out of the sandwich. That's not pineapple. What is that? The moon landing was clearly fake. That's a shitty Bluetooth player that people take on hikes nowadays. I'm not gonna fold my shirts, ever. Panty thieves are awesome. Don't leave your panties out. Too many pancakes. That kid's not gonna eat all those pancakes. Why do you need 2 toothbrushes? One will do the trick. Space sex. Even in the future, Beyonce's Lemonade. That is a ridiculous car. You don't need a car that small. Uber should take some of your drunk asses home tonight, clearly. Who is ordering that much Izzy? No one likes Izzy that much. I don't talk to my friends, let alone computers. Cool colors. Graphics. Tampon commercial and virtual reality. Enjoy yourself.
I want to do this forever. I think it's always just a strong choice to end on tampon commercial. My stomach hurts. I looked funny, and then they came on stage and ruined it for me. Our final speaker of the evening is Natalie Kilkenny. I will let her come out and introduce herself. Shauna, when we've been backstage, she's been fluffing my hair in your absence. So, yeah.
Doesn't it look amazing? I don't want to take all the credit for it, but that was a lot of work. Hi, everybody. I'm Natalie, and I'm an improviser, and this seems really loud. But most importantly, I have a show on October 13th, and it's called Scriptprov, and it's at the Avenue Theater, and actually with a group of women called the Dishwater Blondes, so check it out. It's a great show. Also, the Denver Improv Festival is just nothing but a good time, and that's November 10th through the 12th, so check it out, denverimprovfestival.com. Now, let's see what fun things I put together for today's slideshow. Here I am with my brother getting our breakfast. He's very attractive. We're not biologically related, so it's okay for me to say that. I had a bit of an accident. Don't drink and shop. That led me to a midlife financial crisis. I couldn't choose, so I bought a white building in Miami. Then people called me greedy, small children. And that's fine. They'll be greedy too when they're older. I want to be African American. This woman is stunning. This is what I aspire to look like. If I use all of these things, maybe I could. I don't know. I don't want to look like this. Not either side are flattering. I don't want to work with machines. Ew. That looks hard, and I don't like that. That's what I want to do. I want to stand in a garden room and just laugh, you know? Or, you know, maybe be lonely with a pillow on my couch. I like graphs. I don't want them to say anything. I just want a graph, a pie chart. I also like to take boats, but old boats that don't move, so I don't actually have to go into the ocean. Also, the universe is gay. Who knew it? Right? Also, you know what? I got rid of that White House, built a sandcastle, a lot more effective. You can see I go surfing every single day. Dr. Seuss is one of my favorite authors. I'm still making it through that one. So here I'm about to jump off a cliff, but I decide, you know what, I'll stick around because he's here, right? So yeah. Thank you.
So this is what you need to take away from this. Matt Need, not a lobster. Quinn Marchman, tampon commercial. Natalie Kilkenny, the universe is gay. So come up here. Please give our improvisers a big round of applause. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, do check out local theater. Do come back to Ignite 25, which is February 16th. It's on a slide now. I want to tell you personally how grateful I am that you came. Every one of these shows makes me a smarter person, and I get to meet so many kick-ass people, and I love Ignite Denver. This is totally not me pimping. It's made my life better. So thank you for being here. I hope I get to see you again. Introduce yourselves to me if I don't know you already. I could keep going all night. But let's get back to Ignite Denver. Anyway, so give yourselves a big round of applause, please. Stick around if you'd like. The bar is still open. If you need a ride home, let somebody know or call Uber or Lyft. Matt Need is a Lyft driver, so I'll just throw that out there too. Otherwise, thank you very much. Get home safely.
Yes, children, that's just what happened. 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 Yes, children, that's just what happened.